you born and raised in Houston, right?
Born in Miami.
Born in Miami,
raised in Houston.
Raised in Houston, Texas. You worked with Beyonce early.
Yeah.
On her first demo.
Yeah. Well, no, I can say that the real story is they worked with me on my first demos. Like they were already like signed. They just got signed to Columbia, and Beyonce and LaToya were students at my high school. I went to a high school for visual arts in Houston. And I was a senior. They were freshmen.
Okay.
And we knew them before that. I knew them when they were younger because they were in this group called Girls Time, and they were really popular around Houston. And we used to do these competitions together, called the People's Workshop.
Yeah. Okay.
And all the young musicians and groups used to do all these competitions, and that's where we all kind of connected at a young age. So when it came to our school, we were already acquainted with each other, already knew each other, and they knew that I was writing songs and producing or whatever like that. So it was Beyonce and LaToya that would tell their dad like, hey, we don't work with Bryan, we work with our friend, you know what I mean? And that's how that relationship started.
Did you know, could you tell then that they were gonna go on to be what they are?
Yeah, it was the most talked about thing in the city. And they didn't really do much, besides those little performances they would do for the People's Workshop. It was still a mystery, you know what I'm saying? Like, 'cause they would go to Oakland and work with Dwayne Wiggins. They would sign Dwayne Wiggins. They would go and work, they would go off to Oakland and work with him. They go to Atlanta, work with Dal Simmons. So it was really a mystery, you know what I mean? And I was privy to a lot of that information early on because we had gotten close, and my mom would let me call them long distance when they would be when they'd be out of town, you know what I mean? And they would play songs over the phone, and you know what I mean, bring songs back. And that was really the gateway for me to know that it's actually possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like something that was like when you're 16 years old, 17 years old, and it's like a dream, you know what I mean? And then you have friends and it's tangible, and they're bringing music back and that's back from producers that you read on credits. And it's like, yo, this is ill. I can actually go do this. You know what I mean? I always give credit where credit's due when it comes to Matthew Knowles and Knowles family, and always, because that family showed me that it was like, no, this is tangible.
It's possible.
This is real.
Is there any standout memories from those sessions? Like
yes.
The early ones?
Early ones. So I was in a collective as a producer by the name of Greg Curtis, who's my mentor. Very early on, took me under his wing. Down the line, Greg Curtis ended up writing and producing Love for Keisha Cole. And I remember, and he's like a really, really one of the most talented people that I've ever encountered. It was him, and there was another guy named Teron Mitchell who was in a group called Groove You. It was a really popular group in Houston. And one of my best friends who's passed away, a guy named Scooby, we were like trying to be like a production team. This was in the 90s, production team was like really popular. We were trying to be a production team. So when they were trying to do like these songs, when we call about the songs, like, we went and made some songs. They came to the studio. Well, Matthew came to the studio first. Matthew came, it was in the middle of like a thunderstorm, hurricane or something. We were at the studio, he came, we played him the songs. He was like, oh, okay, y'all little niggas got something,
Yeah.
And then he went back, we made the session happen. Tina brought the girls over. And we, I remember it was like the first time I was like directing a vocal, you know what I mean? And these are my friends, so it felt easy initially, but then I never really seen Beyonce or seen him or Kelly, seen them work in the studio.
Yeah.
You just go to the show, you root for them, whatever, but I never seen the process. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Them and they were so already polished in the studio, like it was unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like you throw anything at them and it was just like, got it. And I was like, oh, this is different.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And we knew early on those girls were going to be stars. And we knew that Beyonce was going to be a star. Yeah, she was always humble, but she was silent with it. She was a silent assassin. She opened her mouth. He was like, oh, shit. You know what I mean? Yeah. She was young. They were like 12, 12, 13 at that time. So them being that young and that polished. Yeah. This is before the album, you know what I mean? I've never seen nothing like that. Outside of maybe Bow Wow. Bow Wow's probably only the kid that I worked with was like 11. And Bow was like a monster, give him, like Brad wrote the second verse to Bounce With Me, and I was concerned.
Yeah.
Because it was so fast, you know what I mean? She's double time. And Bow was like 11, ate that shit like one take.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? We was doing 3 songs a day with him.
Mm-hmm.
Were you compromised in the divorce of Destiny's Child? Once they broke up?
There's a lot that happened behind that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I was working with Jagged Edge at the time.
Yeah.
And so I got a bird's eye view to, you know, and because of the girls were my friends, Bryan and Brandon are obviously my guys.
Mm-hmm.
And we all know Matthew. And Matthew was very ambitious and he was very no nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He talked plenty of shit, but he was about his he was about his shit. And he was about that business. And he wasn't gonna let anybody disrupt that. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, so as soon as the disruption started like was gonna happen, next thing you know, it's like I own the name. It was like he made that shit happen so fast, you know. Mm-hmm. And next thing we know, they was out. LaToya and Latavia were out, and Michelle and Farrah were in. And
do we, as the public, did we get the real breakup reason for Destiny's Child?
What was the breakup reason that the public got?
Some bullshit, like, oh, it's creative differences or something like that.
Okay, so no, what happened was
there's that viral clip of Beyonce telling her like, yo, you could just like pack your bags later, like you should leave.
Wow. Yeah, I think
it's one of the funniest videos. Like, we could just ship you like your luggage. You could get on a plane now if you want.
I think there were layers of it. I think that, you know, they were all kids. You got parents involved.
Yeah.
You know, Matthew is the mastermind, you know, but the other parents feel like they want to be involved.
They want some say.
They want their kids to have a voice and this, that, and the third. And when you get kids and parents living vicariously through their kids, there's always going to be some clash. You know what I mean? And they were big when the clash happened. They were on the second album. Yeah. No was a platinum single. Mm-hmm. They were on the second album. Those records was going out the roof. Right as well, did 10 million. Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the clash couldn't have happened at a more like pivotal point. You know what I'm saying? Where the parents like want a stake in the, you know, want their kids to have a, you know, be this their group too.
Yeah.
You know?
We don't look back at that split enough because that was kind of like,
it was wild.
Yeah. And it kind of felt like, remember when Fresh Prince rolled in the new Aunt Viv and she was like a light-skinned lady?
Yeah.
Like, it was like, what is this? Like,
are you calling Michelle Aunt Viv?
No. I'm definitely not doing that. But it felt like it was just a whole different aesthetic.
Nobody said anything. It was like the fucking video came on. It was like, who are these two girls?
That's what I'm saying.
It was like, what the hell happened?
Especially that first album. How much did it sell? The first album.
The first album, I think it ended up going platinum.
There's
2 times platinum. Like the first album, I think, yeah.
There's like 4 diamond records on that shit. And then just the next album is a whole new group.
We talking about the second album. The first album is no. The second album is right as well when it changed. Then all of a sudden, Survivor comes and it's like,
yeah.
Who are,
and that was when it was 3,
you know
right?
Like,
Survivor was just 3 of them?
Yeah, there was 3 of them. Yeah. It was 3. At that point, because Farrah was in and out. They got Farrah up out of there quick.
And then she had like a sex tape scandal or something.
It was something like that. It was something crazy.
It was something. It was some. I remember like that was. I mean, that was a long time ago. If we talking now, but like I remember just thinking back, like it was a lot of weird shit going on. Like, yo, what the fuck is going on right now?
Then Beyonce did the hip hop opera Carmen.
Yeah.
Carmen's underrated.
Great. That's a great MTV production
and great soundtrack.
Yeah.
There's a Mos Def and Beyonce song on there where she's rapping.
Yeah.
With Mos.
Yeah.
Crazy.
She was fighting Temptations after, you know, Beyonce's star just was consistently going up.
That happened after like the what was it? It's Independent. What was it?
Yeah, the Charlie's Angels.
Charlie's Angels. Like, after that was like, all right, we know what Beyonce.
That group was destined though. That group was destined, and Beyonce was destined. Like it was so crazy because she was always been one of the nicest people. Like you ever like to this day, she's one of the sweetest people you meet, right?
Yeah.
And she was so sweet in high school, and people still didn't like her.
That's but you know that's
sweetest people.
Yeah.
I mean when you're you know how it is in high school. Pretty girl, light skinned, talented. All the boys probably like her.
Every nigga in the school like her.
Which means all the girls are not gonna like her. You know what I'm saying? Unless they're pretty girls and they're not insecure. Yeah. You know how it is in high school. It's that's just how it goes.
Speaking of viral videos with Beyonce, there's the photo of Beyonce and her boyfriend from high school. And like the meme is like the number one ball dropper of all time.
Lindo.
Did you know this gentleman personally?
I did. I know him well.
What's his name?
His name is Lindo.
Damn, Lindo.
I've known Lindo for a long time.
Have you ever had that conversation with?
He wasn't destined to win.
Don't do that to Lindell.
Lindell?
I mean, yeah, Lindell. A name like Lindell, you got to either be very athletic,
Yeah.
No, he was.
or you got to be.
He was really popular though. He was popular. You know, he was definitely in the sports. He was
Okay.
he was a popular kid.
When
He
was the last
cheated
time
on her.
He cheated on Beyonce.
Yeah.
It was high school.
What's wrong with him? What's wrong with Lindell?
Yeah.
So Lemonade was technically about Lindell. It wasn't about Hove.
Oh.
Definitely wasn't about
Yeah,
Lindell.
my bad. It wasn't about Lindell.
I like
Who has the bigger fumble, Liddell or JD?
Lindell.
That's a great.
Okay, was that Liddell? Lindell.
Lindell or
That is a
Jermaine.
great-
Lindell or
that is a
Jermaine?
great
The
fucking
biggest
JD,
question.
my
fumble,
God, but
the
which
biggest
fumble was
fumble?
bigger?
Oh man, this is hard.
Is it though?
It's no,
Not really.
It's not. JD's still JD.
The Lindell
Yeah.
definitely
But
had
Lindell's still Lindell. Don't do that.
No, Lindell's not
Lindell
Lindell.
got the burgers going crazy.
Lindell's not Lindell.
Got the
Come
burgers
on.
going crazy. It's
I'm
like
just
he on the
laughing
grill like a
because
motherfucker.
I'm laughing because there's always a joke. You know, there's always a joke about Jermaine and Janet. And
Yeah.
everybody. We always joke about it. But yeah, Lindell definitely had the biggest fumble. I mean,
By
look. I
far.
mean,
Yeah,
you-
it's
He
like,
fumbled.
there's no
He fumbled
question.
in the Super Bowl.
I'm talking about.
He
That's
fumbled
terrible.
in the Super Bowl for games.
Yeah. He had the biggest fumble ever.
Lindell, we love you. We just
And it's history. Like it'd be one thing if you fumbled it and nobody could Google it.
yeah.
Like you could Google the fumble.
They bring the
and
prompt
really
picture up every
watch
year.
the history. Is terrible.
And at least JD, it was good to see him in the Janet doc. Like they still,
No, they
Yeah.
they
you know
tight.
what I mean. So
They
yeah,
super
it's like
tight.
it was. He
Yeah,
fucked up. He fumbled, but we still friends though.
And really, you let them tell it. It was really just time, bro.
Yeah, yeah.
Like if you really look at the story, it's
Yeah.
really time. Like
Yeah.
she's off doing what she's doing. He's
Yeah.
off being Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah.
Because he was Jermaine Dupri.
Absolutely,
You know what I mean?
and still is.
You got to find that time to try to, it's hard, man. It's hard
Yeah.
to do that shit when you like
Yeah,
when y'all both are like super successful.
Yeah.
It's some
Yeah.
hard shit to do.
we all have that one homeboy that lies to his friends that like, yo, she's feeling me. Like, I think this girl likes me. When Jermaine came to y'all and was like, yo, I think Janet
was there.
Jackson is feeling me.
I was actually
Did y'all laugh at him?
I was actually there. I was there when it happened.
To be like, nah, she probably just wants to work with you.
No. You don't know what I'm saying. Me and Jermaine did a remix for Someone to Call My Lover,
Mhm.
right? And like I said, remix business was a thing. I mean, they flew us to LA. We was seen at the Peninsula. We was at Larrabee. We had Larrabee booked out for 3 days. You know what I mean? So, I remember the first day. I got to the studio. I got to early too, like 11:30, and me and an engineer guy named Bryan Fry just waiting. Jermaine pull up.
mm-hmm.
Hour go by, 2 hours go by, 3 hours go by. No Jermaine. You know what I mean? Nobody could get him on the phone, whatever. So I'm like, well, let's start something. You know what I mean? So I started dealing around with some chords or whatever. We listened to the master, and we kept a few things that was on the master. And then Jermaine comes and we start working. And I go to the bathroom. I'm going to the bathroom. Walk past his lounge, go to the bathroom. To the lounge, the door's open. And Janet's just in there chilling. She
Janet
didn't
Jackson
really come to
chilling?
work. I didn't expect to see her because we were doing a remix.
Yeah.
So I thought we just do remix,
Take her
finish
vocals,
remix, send the tape on in, whatever. But the fact that she was there, I was like, why is she here?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And she went in the studio. She wasn't overseeing the remix.
Right.
She was just in there chilling. I'm like,
That's cold.
what
I
this
got
boy-
Janet
what
in the
this boy up
lounge
to?
just kicking
What
and
this boy
chilling.
up to?
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what I'm saying? He up to something.
NewRoryAndMal.